This certainly is a fall from grace, Uriah. You still have your usual wit, I see. Time hasn't changed that about you.
And it ain't done shit for you.
Time means nothing to people like me, Uriah. It simply is a tool to be used. And I used it as a means to refine myself, whilst you seem to have lost your edge.
Why don't you go on and undo these glyphs so I can show you where it went?
We both know you could break those yourself if you wanted, Uriah. Yet you're still here. Whatever escape plan you have in mind, I suggest you purge it. Any attempts to run or harm me will lead to Hezekiah killing Alonzo.
You're not betting that you're strong enough to stop me?
I am not a fool, Uriah. I know how old you are, and I know how resourceful you can be. I won't be taking any chances with you.
That why you need to hide behind Alonzo?
Yes, and you do well to remember that he's a hostage that I will batter inches away from his life if you try anything.
Touch him, and I will rip you open for the birds to pick out every one of your organs.
The devil of New Orleans, punisher of the French Quarter, has grown a soft spot.
Happens when you have a soul.
Do you? As far as I was aware, you're the man who was known for draining people in dark alleyways of all their blood.
Playing to my morals don't work when I know myself, Jericho. Take your ramblings elsewhere and get to the point.
Fine. You were always so cut and dry. I never liked that about you. In fact, I never quite saw what they did in you.
Jealous.
Very. You were a blood-sucking serpent with the charisma of a gutted fish that walked onto my property and stole my spouse away from me.
Stole. Is that how you see what happened?
Is that not it? When you led them on with your sob story, robbed their attention, defiled our house with your presence, and proceeded to scratch you away into the cracks of their heart. That is the word that I would use to describe what you did to our marriage.
You are a delusional thing, ain't you?
Watch your tongue.
I didn't take shit from you. After years of realizing that every second they spent with you was hollow, meeting someone who actually knew how to have a conversation made them want to be around me.
And you used that to slither your way into their life.
I spoke to them like a person, and I let them be one.
You act like you knew them. I was there for everything they asked. I would bend to be everything they needed. I gave them worship that they deserved. They are the greatest thing this world could offer, and I devoted my everything to them every day before you crawled into our lives. I loved them.
Oh, sure. You love them so much that you almost killed them when they begged you not to turn them.
They didn't know better. We would have been happy together had they let me turn them.
Don't you dare pretend for a second that you knew what was going to happen that night. You can lie to yourself about what happened. You can tell yourself that I took what was yours, like the pathetic little prick that you are. But you will not stand there and pretend that you thought about their happiness when you ripped into their neck, because you damn well did, you selfish, arrogant piece of shit.
That is quite an arrangement of words from the one who turned them despite their wishes.
I paid my dues for that. I paid them for years as I looked them in the eyes and begged for their forgiveness. What did you do, Jericho? Want to talk about what I did? Fine. I stood above them as they were dying and looked at what you had done to your spouse. I saw my friend gasping for air and I choked for him. I turned him because I was too selfish to let him go after finally meeting someone who I cared about, and I didn't want to see him die when I could change that. And for that, I sat under their scorn. I begged for their forgiveness. I stood there for years by their side as I paid my dues, and I earned everything that they gave to me. I did that. I taught them how to control their bloodlust. I gave them the tools they needed to be who they wanted to be. And I gave them the choice to put me out of my fucking misery. When they let me live, I stayed and I grew with them. And what did you do, Jericho? What did you do? Because you didn't visit the graves of all their family with them each time someone passed, or watched how it tore them apart when they couldn't go anymore without catching a case. You didn't even stick around to pay for what you did to them. I may have been the one who broke their trust, but you destroyed their life because you were too fucking caught up in what you wanted to make them. I wanted my friend, and you wanted a fucking idol.
Silence!
What did you fucking do?
I will kill.
You ran like the pathetic little bitch you are.
The snake finally shows its true skin.
Jericho, make no mistake. You are dying tonight.
Perhaps. But you'll be lucky if you can show your face around New Orleans when I am through with this city.
And why is that?
Because you're going to help me create the Philosopher's Stone.
Like hell I will.
Either you make it, or I do. And I promise you, Uriah, that if I create one, then Alonzo is going to be the first person offered up to the effort. And he will be nothing but a corpse when the work is done. I take it we understand what's going to happen tonight.
What someone like you want with that stone?
I'll entertain your question. I showed my beloved that despite everything, despite the poison that you are, the weak sapling that they call their lover, I am the only one who can truly be there for them. I will show them that in all the time we spent apart, I grew into someone who could eclipse the sun with a thought, and that I will be the one thing they will ever need.
You haven't changed one bit. Still as needy to prove yourself as you were when I turned you.
And you have become nothing but a withered ghost of the man I once respected. I'll show them exactly that, and then they'll realize that they should have put you down like the mongrel you are.